In the coldest, most frigid regions of the Earth, every movement carries risk. Polar bears don't hunt with blind brute force, but with cold calculation and patience. The captured moments reveal a world where victory and defeat are separated by mere seconds. These aren't mere attacks, but the most brutal survival decisions ever filmed. Polar bears are the largest land predators of the Arctic. An adult male can weigh from 900 to over 1,300 pounds and measure up to 8 feet from head to tail. Beneath their skin is a thick layer of fat, several inches deep. This fat provides stable insulation when winter temperatures can drop below -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Their outer coat is thick, fluffy white fur. It helps keep them warm, waterproof, and blends perfectly with the surrounding ice and snow. Their large paws act like natural snowshoes. They distribute their body weight across thin ice, allowing them to move steadily without easily falling into the cold water. Their strong skeletal structure and powerful limbs allow them to sprint quickly over short distances. Each movement is decisive and precise. Polar bears have exceptionally keen senses of smell. They can detect prey from over 60 feet away, even when the prey is hidden beneath thick ice. The true strength of a polar bear doesn't just come from its muscles or size. It's a combination of physical prowess, cold tolerance, and senses refined over thousands of years of evolution. These factors explain why polar bears can survive and dominate one of the harshest environments on Earth. In the icy ocean, seals depend on tiny breathing holes in the ice. These are the fragile threads connecting the cold water below to the air above. Each time they surface, seals reclaim their lives in just a few short breaths. Polar bears know the value of these breathing holes. In their memory, the locations of the holes are recorded like an invisible map. They move slowly between familiar points, without haste or deviation. Once they've chosen a spot, the bear lies down. Hours pass in absolute silence. No movement, no energy expenditure, only prolonged waiting. Beneath the ice, the seal is forced to return to its familiar breathing hole. It's not a choice, but a survival instinct. The moment the ice surface trembles slightly, everything changes. The attack happens in a few decisive seconds. Short, precise, pouring all its weight into a single movement. Either success or the chance vanishes instantly. A successful hunt can sustain a bear for up to 10 days. But even with perfect skill, the success rate only ranges from 10 to 20%. Each approach is a gamble of energy. Try your luck, or accept going hungry for many more days. In the Arctic, Victory doesn't come from the number of strikes. It comes from memory, patience, and the ability to choose the right moment to act. In the Arctic, scarcity silently alters behavior. As food dwindles, polar bears begin to move closer together. Confrontations arise over leftover food on the ice, familiar routes, or proximity to areas where they raise their young. When they encounter each other, the atmosphere becomes noticeably tense. But fighting rarely happens immediately. Dominant signals are sent first. The bears stand upright, their front legs spread wide. A low, rumbling warning sound echoes in the cold air. This is a measure of strength. The goal isn't to inflict injury. In the Arctic, injury means a loss of survival. Therefore, most confrontations end when one side backs down. However, when food becomes extremely scarce, those limits can be broken. Hunger pushes behavior beyond safe boundaries. Adult male bears can become a danger to even their cubs. In that situation, the mother bear faces the most severe challenge. Her weight is often only about half that of the male. Meanwhile, the cubs weigh only about 20 to 30 pounds, completely dependent on their mother's presence. Every move becomes a calculation. Every decision carries clear risk. As the ice melts, living space shrinks rapidly. Food is dispersed. Pressure builds with every step. Motherhood becomes an extreme battle for survival. The effects of these pressures don't stop at a single individual. They directly impact the reproductive capacity and long-term survival of the species. In the Arctic, motherhood is more than just caregiving. It's a constant series of choices between safety and risk, in a world where mistakes are not an option. Walruses are the massive powerhouses of the Arctic. A mature individual can weigh up to 4,000 pounds, larger than most surrounding threats. They live in herds, relying on their numbers for safety on the ice. Their long tusks and the powerful thrust from their massive bodies make even polar bears hesitate. Every approach carries clear risks. A small mistake can be costly. Therefore, the bear rarely chooses a direct confrontation. It stands at the edge of the herd, observing in silence, waiting for the slightest signs of disorder. A slower-moving cub, a weak individual unable to react in time, or the moment the walrus herd is disturbed. The bear begins to apply pressure, without haste, without fanfare. Its mere presence is enough to cause the herd to shift. As panic spreads, order crumbles in a matter of seconds. That's the only time to act. Quick, precise, and finished. Many times, the opportunity slips away. The bear is forced to retreat, accepting defeat to conserve energy. But when successful, the reward is enormous. A single hunt can yield up to 150,000 calories, enough to sustain life for many harsh days. This confrontation isn't decided by sheer strength. Intelligence and adaptability are the key factors. In the Arctic, survival isn't about being the strongest, but about knowing when to advance and when to retreat. As the ice melts, access to seals becomes more difficult. Polar bears are forced to adjust their survival strategies. Their familiar energy sources are no longer readily available. During these periods, bears switch to lower-calorie options. They climb high coastal cliffs, reaching seabird nesting grounds seasonally. Eggs don't provide much energy, but they are more readily available and accessible. Small, sporadic gatherings accumulate over time. They aren't an ideal meal, but they're enough to sustain life until a greater opportunity arises. In a changing world, adaptation isn't about seeking new strengths. It's about the ability to accept less and to survive long enough to wait for the next opportunity. Beluga whales are small whales that live near the Arctic Circle. Their pale white bodies help them blend in with the ice and light. Belugas usually move in small groups, preferring shallow, calm waters. When the tide rises, narrow channels open up close to the shore. That's when the boundary between sea and ice becomes fragile. The polar bear recognizes this rare opportunity. It waits at the edge of the ice, observing the water. Every tidal beat is memorized. When a beluga gets too close to the shallow area, the approach is quick and decisive. Most attempts end in failure. The beluga turns around just in time, slipping out of reach. Each such failure consumes precious energy. When the environment changes, the bear doesn't stubbornly stay put. It retreated quietly, returning to the familiar tactics that had sustained it before. In the Arctic, not every opportunity is worth pursuing. Survival lies in the ability to try at the right time and knowing when to stop when the price becomes too high. Salmon return to the Arctic rivers seasonally. This brief migration brings the rivers to life. Small in size, but full of energy, they are a fleeting food source for the summer. Polar bears appear silently. They don't chase through the deep water. The bear waits in shallow, narrow stretches of the river, where the current forces the fish to slow down. The water rises and falls. Salmon dart past. The pounce happens in a short, quick, and precise moment. Sometimes it hits its target. Sometimes it's just a splash. Wins and misses alternate constantly. Most hunts yield only modest results, but each fish caught helps replenish the energy lost during the summer. This hunt cannot replace larger prey, but it keeps the body functioning, enough to prolong endurance. In the Arctic, survival sometimes doesn't lie in abundance. It lies in having enough strength to get through the next day. From the fragile breathing holes in the ice to the shallow riverbanks of the fleeting summer, the life of a polar bear is a constant series of choices between risk and surrender. Each recorded hunt not only reveals the harsh conditions, but also exposes the intelligence, patience, and true limits of strength. In the frigid Arctic, the silence hides ambushes and dangerous attacks from nature. From surprise attacks under the ice to relentless chases across the snow, every moment is life or death. This is where instinct and endurance shape the relentless confrontations between masters of Arctic ambush. In the cold ocean, orca are not just strong because of their size. They are strong because of their coordination. Every hunt begins with clear calculations and discipline from the whole group. When hunting dolphins, which swim fast and change direction constantly, orca immediately divide into groups. One group applies pressure from behind. Another group blocks the sides, narrowing the escape route little by little. The dolphins are led into a circle where space gradually disappears. The precision of each turn shows the skill honed over generations. When facing seals on the ice, the strategy is completely different. Orca do not charge. They swim in sync, keeping a horizontal line, and simultaneously create a large wave. The wave crashes into the ice, tilting or cracking it. The seal loses its balance and falls into the water where the orca takes control. In both the deep sea and the ice, orcas know how to use their environment. They understand the force of the water, the direction of the wind, the thickness of the ice, and the movement of their prey. That coordination is true power, a shared knowledge passed down through generations. The snowy owl has thick white feathers that keep it warm and blend in with the snow, giving it an advantage when hunting. Its sharp yellow eyes can clearly observe movement even in the dark, and its sensitive ears allow it to hear faint sounds under the ice. Its main food consists of lemmings, Arctic hares, and small birds. The snowy owl often waits for a long time, standing still in the cold wind. When the right moment comes, it swoops down like a streak of light. In many snowy areas, the snowy owl is described as the silent shadow of death, a predator that rarely shows itself, but is always accurate in the decisive moment. As the wolves approach a group of musk oxen, the ice becomes a place where two opposing survival strategies are exposed. The wolves are agile, coordinated, and persistent, gradually closing in on their prey. They apply constant pressure, looking for gaps in the dense formation ahead. The musk oxen respond with strong protective instincts. They immediately form a defensive circle. The cubs are kept safe in the center. The adults stand on the outside, their horns facing outward like a solid wall. This confrontation is more than just a hunt. It is a clash between the spirit of tenacious solidarity and the instinct of desperate protection, where every step brings danger and the tension of the Arctic nature. Arctic wolves live in packs of 5 to 10 individuals, moving constantly through harsh, icy regions. A subspecies of the gray wolf, they have developed thick white fur that keeps them warm and camouflages them perfectly against the snow. This species is known for its endurance. They can track prey for miles on the ice, relying on the strength of their collective strength to corner and tire their opponents. Order within the pack is maintained by signals and experience, creating a rhythmic coordination. Amidst the relentless cold and the endless darkness, the Arctic wolf has become a symbol of perseverance and cunning, surviving thanks to the adaptability and solidarity of the pack. During mating season, male bears clash for territory, food, and access to females. Each cause is important enough to spark conflict between the 1,320-pound-plus individuals. As the two males approach, they assume a wary stance, their deep growls echoing softly across the ice. The confrontation begins with powerful swings of their forelimbs, each testing the other's endurance. The fights can be long, their white fur tangled and leaving deep scars from years of competition. In this harsh land, strength lies not just in muscle, but in the will and endurance of each individual. When a polar bear approaches a pod of belugas near the edge of the ice, the situation becomes fraught with danger. One slip or one wrong step could send it into deep water, where belugas swim fast and are difficult to reach. The bear stands still, watching every gap in the ice, waiting for the moment when the pod gets too close. In this scene, nature shows its harshness. A perfect strategy can bring a crucial meal, while a small mistake can cost lives. When chasing a reindeer on the vast ice, The pack of wolves not only runs, but also reads every movement of the prey. They persistently keep a safe distance, observing the breathing, running posture, and even the moments when the reindeer begins to tire. The chase becomes a harsh test of speed, endurance, and coordination. The reindeer can break away strongly, but if they slow down just a step, the battle immediately tilts in the wolves' favor. The whole pack keeps a steady rhythm, taking turns to close in, gradually narrowing the escape space. On the endless, snowy ground, the outcome belongs to the species that can keep its breath steady and catch the fragile moment when the prey is exposed. In the cold waters of the North Pacific, killer whales move with a calm, commanding presence. An adult can be 26 to 30 feet long and weigh over 11,000 pounds, yet their movements are fluid and precise. Despite their massive size, they are the largest members of the dolphin family. What sets them apart is not just their strength, but their intelligence. The orca's brain is large and complex, allowing for sophisticated communication and advanced social behavior. In a pod, sometimes numbering up to a dozen individuals, each animal understands its role. Their sounds resonate in the water, allowing the group to coordinate with incredible precision. Each hunt is based on discipline and calculation, not speed. The pod stays in a steady formation, guiding its prey in a predetermined direction. Generation after generation, that coordination becomes the precise instinct that helps Orca master the cold northern seas. In the vast frozen area, the mother bear is the only fortress protecting her cubs. The cubs are still weak, completely dependent on the mother's vigilance and strength. The mother bear is always ready to face all dangers, from wandering male bears to other predators. The mother bear's instinct to protect them does not back down. As soon as she sees a sign of threat, she immediately stands in front of her cubs, maintaining a firm position on the ice. That determination, alertness, and perseverance help the cubs overcome the first dangerous months of their lives. In the Arctic ice, polar bears are known as the world's largest bears, with some weighing more than 1,320 pounds. Their thick white fur and insulating fat help them withstand the long cold and constant gale-force winds. Strong forelimbs and broad paws help them balance on thin ice and swim dozens of miles in cold water. Seals are an important source of energy, rich in fat, and the main food source that sustains them. A highly sensitive sense of smell allows bears to detect prey from great distances. Their sharp ears help them listen for small movements under the ice. Bears can stand still for hours at breathing holes, waiting for the right moment. When the opportunity arises, they strike quickly, precisely, and never miss the decisive moment. In this frozen world where survival is always challenged, every Arctic predator reveals its mettle through each ambush and lightning attack. From the disciplined strength of the orca, the tenacity of the wolf, to the silent shadow of the snowy owl, all follow the cruel law of survival. Here, victory is not for the strongest, but for the species that understands the timing and seizes the fragile moments of nature. It is the cold but captivating harmony of the most elite predators of the Arctic.